Phage.
Helping you vending is better than a franchise.
So I'm muted. What's going on, guys? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? What's going on? Good morning. Good morning. It is Tuesday, May 23rd, man. I'm so excited. My name is Brendan Rivera, Regional Vice President, $100,000 earner, head coach of Team ATP. Anything is possible. Man, we are so excited, guys, to be with you today. And I have the awesome pleasure of sharing training with my coach, my original OG, Regional Vice President, now Senior National Sales Director, Eric Ortiz. And man, I'm just so excited, guys, to get with you guys today. And the reason why I played that video is number one, man, that's what we're going to be talking about, is how bad whole life cash value life insurance is, guys. And man, you have to know this stuff, guys, because it is out there. And it's worse, and it's getting worse, and it's getting worse than ever, right, guys? Yanae sat down with a client yesterday. They they were doing a field training kitchen table appointment, which is so important for all of you brand new people. This is why you need to talk to everybody, guys. For example, yesterday Yanae was doing a field training appointment with one of our teammates, one of our new representatives, Will, right? And he sat down, scheduled an appointment with his wife. Right. And guys, listen to this. She had not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven, but 8 whole life cash value policies with American Income Life, guys. And man, guys, what's the point of 8 policies? Tell me that. Okay, nothing besides a whole bunch of policy fees and for someone to make a commission. Okay, guys. So listen, man, you have to go out there and talk to people. Okay, you don't know what else is out there. Guys, right? Another example, shoot, Yanae just did another call this morning, and shout out to my wife. She's on it right now, right? She did a call this morning with the client, or potential client, right? They didn't have a whole life policy, but they had the evil, ugly twin of a universal policy with Washington National, I think it's called. And they found out they had the policy for some years now. I think it was like 6-7 years. Their cash value was an outstanding $128 after 7 years, right? But it's sold as a retirement product, right? 7 years, $128 later, right? She has she's paying over $75 a month, right? For that policy. It's like only $50,000 in coverage. And, they asked the company, hey, so what's the, like, if we needed to cancel this policy, how much is the client going to get? And the representative, which I'm so excited for Eric to go over these phone calls, the representative said, actually, she won't get anything. Well, what about that $128? Well, that's actually going to be used to pay the surrender charge of $1,000. Right, guys, they're just stealing money from people. Okay, and again, this is another field training appointment that Yanae was on. So you have to make sure, guys, that you're talking to everybody. Okay, no one is too good. Okay, there's been people, I've sat down with clients that make 200, 300, 400,000 a year, getting ripped off by whole life companies, getting ripped off by IUL companies. Okay, so it's up to you to make sure you're doing the right thing and talking to people. Okay, so guys, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to break down, the difference between what we do and versus everybody else. Okay, and we're also going to break down an actual policy. Okay, see, guys, when it comes to life insurance, just like Dave Ramsey was talking about. Now, guys, also, we do not endorse Dave Ramsey. Okay, that was just a video, just to prove a point. Okay, we do not endorse Dave Ramsey. All right, so don't be going on there and looking at his stuff, because he does promote his own life insurance company. Okay, so make sure that you guys understand that. Okay, but he is against whole life, which is one positive. All right. So when it comes to your life insurance, though, guys, you have to make sure, like he talked about, is the goal of life insurance is not to need it. Right now, why do you need life insurance? Well, if you have kids, do you need life insurance? Yes. If you have a mortgage or you rent a home, an apartment, do you need life insurance? Yes. If you have a job, do you need life insurance? Well, yeah. Okay, if you have any form of financial responsibility to anybody or anything, You need life insurance, because if you were to die tomorrow, right, and something happened to you, boom, you're gone. Well, are those responsibilities gone with you? No. So someone's got to take care of those responsibilities, Frank. It's either going to be your spouse, your kids, or other family members. And is it their responsibility, Monty, to take care of them? No, they didn't sign up for that. They didn't sign up for that house mortgage. They didn't sign up for that credit card debt. They didn't sign up to take care of your kids. Those are your kids, right? One of the most frustrating things, Brian, is when I sit down with a client and the person I'm sitting down with says, hey, I'm good. If something happens to me, my family will take care of their kid, take care of my kids. Well, did your family sign up for that? Right? That's your responsibility. Okay. So guys, sometimes you may have to, smack someone up a little bit, not physically, but like with your words. Okay. And get your point across. Okay. They're going to say no anyway, Sasha. So what's the point? Why hold back? Right. See, people, I like to say this to people all the time. Well, hey, listen, they'll tell me, hey, car insurance is, I'll ask them, well, you pay for car insurance, right? How much do you pay for your car insurance, Anthony? $200, $300 a month to replace a car that's $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in value that you can replace. And they'll look at me and they'll say, hey, well, car insurance is mandatory. I have to have car insurance. And I say, you know what? You're 100% right. You don't need life insurance, but life insurance is only mandatory for those who care about their family. Right? See, guys, at the end of the day, if they're going to say no, what's the point? But again, we're talking about people who have life insurance. Okay. So guys, at the end of the day, if they have life insurance, I tell people all the time, because, when you're doing orientation, sometimes we're like, oh, I already know this person has life insurance. That's great. More than likely, they have the wrong kind. Actually, if they don't have Primerica life insurance, they have the wrong kind. It doesn't matter if it's term, whole life, cash value, universal, index, universal life, variable life insurance, this life insurance, whatever it is. If it's not Primerica, it's not the right kind. And you have to have the confidence saying that, guys, that you know what you're doing. Because if you don't know what you're doing, you don't have that kind of confidence. Just like when you're talking to a new representative and you say, hey, listen, I'm going to show you how to make $3,000 to $5,000 your first month, licensed with us part-time. Well, if you don't have confidence in yourself, you don't have confidence in saying that to your representatives. One, you got to make that kind of money to have the confidence in doing it. So if you're not confident in saying those things, it's probably because you're not practicing those things. Right? I'm confident when I sit down with a client, I say, hey, you need $1 million life insurance, because I have $1 million in life insurance. That doesn't bother me, right? So you got to make sure you have the confidence and you got to be practicing what you preach. But let's get into the training, guys. So I don't have that much time, but I did want to share that with you guys, right? So guys, when it comes to life insurance, like I said, the goal is to eliminate the need for it. Okay. You don't need life insurance for your whole life. Okay. If someone tells you need life insurance your whole life, David, they're just trying to make money off of you for your what? Your whole life. That's it. Okay. Until the day you die, that agent's going to be making money off of that policy. Right? I love sitting down with whole life agents. They're like, but man, what about the renewals? Right? What about the residual check? I'm like, man, you just sound like a con artist. Really, you sold a crap product, right? You ripped off this person, but the only thing you're worried about is the money you made. Okay? And after I explain the facts, I break down the policy with them. I remember I sat down with the Mutual of Omaha representative, a guy I actually, used to play baseball with, and he was like, well, I showed him a policy from Mutual of Omaha, and he was like, oh man, I don't know why, they did this, because blah, blah, blah. Do you mind if I, take this to my agents, to my upline, right, and show it to them? And, I'm like, dude, no, the policy is the policy. It says it right there. Whether you tell me they did it wrong or not, that someone else did this, right? Someone in your company sold this to a client. And guess what? I'm going to replace it. So just to give you a heads up, all right? So you might want to warn your buddy, whoever this is, that they're going to get a charge back here soon, okay? So look, guys, you have to understand this. There's two types of life insurance. There's what's called insurance plus savings, and then there's just insurance. Now, most people, when they see this, okay, Lucia, they're going to choose what? The insurance and savings. Why? Because they hear the savings. That sounds pretty. Yeah, I want insurance and I want savings. But let me ask you this question, okay? Do any kind of other life or any kind of insurance, car insurance, homeowners insurance, renters insurance, phone insurance, health insurance, does any of that else come with a savings attached to it? No. But why does life insurance? Well, because life insurance, again, is the one kind of insurance that's typically not mandatory. So most people don't really think about it too much. They're just sold a product. Okay? They're sold a product because it looks nice. All right. And then with the other side, there's regular insurance, pure life insurance. Okay. So again, what I typically ask clients is I say, which side would you want to be on? Because if they say it, it's right. If I say it, it's wrong. And they always tell me 99% of the time, that's why I want the insurance and the savings. I say, absolutely. And you're exactly where most people are, right? They want the savings. So I say, Mr. and Mrs. Client, there's 3 types of cash value life insurance. There's whole life, universal life, and variable life. Do any of those 3 sound familiar to you? And they'll say, well, whole life. Or maybe they have a universal life policy and they'll say universal. Okay, I've only ran into 1 variable life insurance policy in my 6 years that I've been doing this business. It was actually field training rate, right? It was a client in New York, okay? And they had a variable life insurance policy. We still replaced it. That's the only one that I've seen, okay? So guys, with that life insurance, there's 2 components. You have your death benefit and you have your cash value, okay? So you have your death benefit and you have the cash value, 2 components, but it's like bundled, like Progressive from Flow or Flow from Progressive. It's bundled together, okay? Now, let's say, for example, let's take it out of the life insurance industry and let's talk about a bank, okay? Let's say you open a bank account, David, and you put money in there and they tell you, hey, David, thank you so much for opening up this account with us. But hey, we don't want to see you for another 3 years because if you ever need any money, your savings account is going to equal 0. What's your first question going to be? Where the heck is my money? Right? First 1 to 3 years. Actually, sometimes, guys, I've seen 1 to 5 years. I've seen 6 years, right? So guys, if you think about it, a portion of this money is going towards the insurance. The other portion is going toward the cash value. But for the first 3 to 6 years, let's say, that cash value, that money going towards that cash value is still going to be 0. So where's the money going? It's going towards paying towards the commission for the agent, paying the company, right? Making sure that they're getting taken care of. Okay. So David, are you going to stay with that bank? Probably not. Okay. Now let's say, okay, you know what? After the 3 years, after the 6 years go by, you decide, you know what? I'm going to stay with them. Okay, Gabby, you're going to keep it going. All right. Well, now that money only grows at a 1 to 4%. Gabby, is that money growing fast or is that money growing slow? Slow, right? Barely keeping up with inflation, especially nowadays. 1 to 4%. All right. And now let's say, you know, that money does grow at a $10,000. Okay. Over the time frame, it grows to 10,000. And then you say, oh, snap, man, my roof is leaking. Or my car broke down, or my kids are in the hospital. I need to take out money. I have an emergency. Well, guess what? You have to borrow that money. You have to take out a loan. What does a loan sound like? Or what do loans come with? Interest, right? That interest is about a 6 to 8%. And guess what, guys? Wait, there's more. If you need that money, right? The company, Timothy, has the right to hold the money for 6 months. Well, Isaiah, after 6 months, is that emergency an emergency anymore? No. Right? No, we've already probably taken care of that emergency and we probably had a whole nother emergency by now. Okay? 6 months. But whose money is in that account? Your money, Imani. So why do you have to wait 6 months? Why do you have to borrow? And why do you have to pay interest on your own money? Does that make any sense to you guys? No. Okay. But now let's say again, you decide, you know what? I'm still going to take that $10,000 loan. And God forbid something happens to you. Well, you would think your family would get the 100,000, right? No, because guess what? There's still a loan out there. And someone's got to pay back that loan. So where do you think the money is going to come from? The 100,000. So your family only gets 90,000. Okay. So now your family only gets 90,000. Okay. So now you not only does your family just lost a loved one, they're getting less money. 100,000 was a lot in the first place. but now they're only getting $90,000, okay? They got to take care of funeral, pay off the house, pay off the car with only $90,000, right? So last but not least, let's say again, you decide, you know what? We're not going to take out the money. We're not going to touch it. We'll just let it keep going. Well, you would think you would get both, right? The life insurance and the investments, or the savings, not the investments, the savings. Okay. Well, and actually, Brian, you only get the 100,000, right? So if God forbid something happens to you, the company keeps whatever's in the cash value. Okay. So let's talk about real quick what it is that we do. All right. See, we believe in a concept, Andrea, called buy term and invest the difference. What does that mean? Well, let's take the same $100 budget. Let's get you a life insurance policy. Andrea, based off a dime or based off your income, you need $250,000. Okay. What would you rather your family get if something happened to you? 250 or 100, Destiny? 250, right? Well, now that $250,000 life insurance policy may cost you $40. So what would you rather pay for life insurance? $40 or $100? $40. Well, what about the remaining $60, Brendan? What should I do with it? Well, you should invest it into a mutual fund. So we give you more coverage. We give you the savings, right? That mutual fund grows immediately. It grows at a 9% or higher. If you need it, take it. It's your money, right? It's my money and I need it now. Use it when you need it. Hashtag JG Wentworth, right? Okay. And then if something happens to you, Alyssa, guess what? Your family gets both. So now instead of your family only getting 100,000, your family gets the 250,000 for the life insurance plus whatever's in the cash value. I mean, whatever's in the mutual fund. Wow, I'm getting mixed up there, right? The mutual fund. Okay. So I always say this too. So the most your family's going to get is $100,000. The least that your family's going to get with us is 250,000. Which one do you want? And I let them I just told them, let them tell me, oh, I want the insurance plus investments, right? Insurance plus the, buy term, invest the difference. And they'll say it. Okay. I don't have to convince them, guys. I just let the slide speak for itself. And I just explain it to them. Now, let's say they have a policy. If you guys don't believe me that these are right, because I can make up a slide, right? I had someone say that to me. Well, Brendan, you can put together a slide and say whatever you want to it. Just like the agent said, what they sold me was good. I said, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Client, you're 100% right. Okay. Do you have your policy there with you? Let's look at that, because that's the legal binding contract, right? Whatever's in that policy is how it works. Okay. So this is an example we have. We have a 36-year-old male. Basic plan is 50,000. Okay. And then, so let's look at some of these things. Okay. So we have a class risk, standard male tobacco, right? Waiver of premium, basic plan. Okay. And then, it says whole life on here somewhere. Maybe it's on this other page. Did I have it? Oh yeah, I have it highlighted, right? So it says whole life paid up to age 100. Covers you for your whole life, right? How much is this client paying for this policy? $97 a month. Okay. So let's break this down. Okay. They're paying $97 a month. Okay. And, they're going to be paying that for the rest of their life. All right. So let's break down each point. How long did I say it would take for the cash value to build? How many years? 3 to 6 years, right? This policy cash value started in the third year, $467. Well, let's do some math. We're paying $97 a month for every single month for at least 3 years, and they only have $467. Well, I'm not the best at math, but I know a lot more money went into this account than $467 in 3 years. Even if I round it up to $100 a month, right? That's $1,200 a year. Okay, that's close to $3,600 in that time frame, right? And they only have $467 to show for it. What happened to the remaining $3,000? Okay, but let's say you decide to keep up with it. Well, now by year 40 that you have this policy, again, this client's going to be 76 years old. They're going to have an outstanding $31,000 to show for all their hard work. After 40 years, Andre, are you going to be real excited about $31,000? No. Okay. So again, let's talk about the interest rate. What did I say the average interest rate is? 1 to 4%. Well, it says it right there. 4%. Guaranteed values at the end of the policy year, blah, blah, blah. The interest rate for guaranteed values in this is 4%. Okay, only growing at a 4%, guys, less than inflation. Okay, well, let's talk about the other part. Let's talk about the policy loans. All right, what does it say right here? Loan, you may borrow against this policy by request at any time unless the basic plan is enforced as extended term. Okay, how long did I say they can hold the money for? 6 months. Okay, cool. So we may defer a loan for up to 6 months after receiving your request, unless you're broke and we need to use this money to pay for the premiums. That's the only way you get the money faster, to keep that policy in force. Okay, but if you have a real emergency, they can hold it up for 6 months. All right, and then again, you may borrow the loan value less any existing loan accrued loan interest rate and unpaid premiums if your unpaid loan plus accrued loan interest rate exceeds the cash value of this policy plus the cash value of any paid up additions. We will send you a policy termination notice. So pretty much once your cash value equals 0, bye-bye policy. So whose money is it? It's their money, right? So the policy will terminate 31 days after we have mailed that notice to you and to any assignee of record. Okay, guys? And it doesn't talk about the interest rate. It just says the loan interest rate is an adjustable rate. Okay, we determine the rate each calendar quarter. So whatever, in this example, this is Snake Farm. Yeah, you guys heard that, right? Snake Farm, right? Is pretty much whatever they want it to be. They can charge you 2%, 5%, 6%, 8%, right? I saw a cash value life insurance policy on a baby yesterday. They're about 6 months old, right? Through, what was the name? Oh, it's Primerica, my favorite, Primerica, right? 6 months old, Primerica policy. The interest rate on a baby was 8%. I said, dang, they went for all of it. They got the highest amount possible, right? 8% on a baby. Okay, so on a baby, it blew my mind. Okay, so guys, you have to understand that this stuff is out there. Okay, and that's why we're on this crusade. That's why this company was started in the first place, is these kind of policies. But if you don't know what you're talking about, if you don't know the craft, if you don't know what you're looking for, you'll get beat by this. And also, if you don't have your investment license, or you're not getting that client set up with your upline who has their investment license, these kind of agents are going to come in there and take your clients because they're able to offer the client something that you're not offering them, savings. But the client has no idea that they're getting ripped off, but it's not their fault. It's your fault because you didn't do your job. You didn't get the license. You didn't talk to them about the investment, right? I know we go over the rule of 72. I know we talk about, the investment side, the mutual side. I know we talk about it, but there's a big difference between talking about it and actually doing it. So I'm not saying, guys, if you don't have your investment license, you guys are doing wrong for the clients, but you need to do your full job and get them in front of your upline. Get them in front of your regional vice president, your regional leader, whoever is the next person above you that has their investment license, get them set up for it. Whether it's a $25 pack, $50 pack, $100 pack, it doesn't matter. Guys, we had I think she's 18, 19 years old. She got $1 million life insurance policy. She called us for it, right? And then she also got a $1,000 pack. She's 19 years old, guys. She's 20. Sorry, thank you. It's screen slice, so she told me, right? She's 20 years old, okay? $1,000 pack, $1 million life insurance policy. She's young. She said, I want to be retired by the time I'm 40. Okay, I didn't set it up. UNA did it, right? Shout out to my wife again. Okay. And so, guys, you have to make sure you're doing your job. Okay. So, guys, that is my portion for training. Before I pass it to Eric, anybody have any quick questions? One question. Andrea, what's up? Speak loud so everybody can hear you.
When I'm reading a policy, like if I'm encountering reading that they have a policy, I tell them to send me a picture of it. And they don't know how many pictures should I ask them, like which pages exactly so they can send me what I need.
Yeah. So what I would recommend, guys, and that's a great question because with Zoom, obviously it is a little bit harder. Yeah. So what Andrea asked, guys, is what pages do I pretty much ask for to have a client send a picture of, right? So I tell them to send me a picture of the first page, right? That starts explaining like the benefits, how much the client's paying, because once I know it's a whole life policy, guys, I know I can beat it. So I just need to figure out, one, is it a whole life policy? Anything that says this policy is a whole life policy, That's what I need. Okay. And then I need to know how much they're paying for and how much coverage. So whatever page has the coverage on that. And so what I typically have them do is I pretty much have them just hold the policy up to the computer screen, or if they're on their phone, I'll have them face the phone to the thing. And then I'll just kind of like go through it and I'll guide them to it. Right. The hardest ones are the ones that maybe the client's a little bit older, right? And you're like to the left, and they're going to the right. And, I'm like, hey, no, the other left. Okay. And you just kind of got to guide them. And then you want the cash value page, right? The page that looks like this. So pretty much what I would recommend, Andre, is just have them show you where they're at. And then you just tell them, hey, that page, right? But you have to know the pages that you're looking for as well, okay? Because every policy is different. Some companies are really, really shady about it, and they won't make put any important information to like the middle of the policy. So sometimes you have to have them go through all of all the pages to figure out where you want to go, because like they'll have all the definitions first. Yeah, that one's it's gonna be it just depends. So you want to just kind of go through it, and then once you see it, you're like, okay, right there. Because look, this one was on page 4, but I'll see it. There's like 6 page 4s, right? There's like 4A, 4B, 4C, and then you have to kind of just go through it. Okay. So I would just have them show you the policy, right? And then just say, hey, listen, okay, that page. Okay. Or another thing, guys, is every company nowadays, not every, I don't want to say every, but most companies nowadays have a login portal. Okay, that they can log into. Primerica has it, Transamerica has it. Every company that I've been coming across lately has a portal that the client can log into. That's the easiest thing to do when you have Zoom, okay? Because you can just give them access to share their screen. They share their screen, they pull it up, right? And you can just go through it yourself. Hey, I'll take over access. Let me just scroll through it, or I'll just have them scroll through it too. Okay. Some clients, if you're doing a really good job, they'll just give you, I had one client just give me their login. I was like, oh shoot. Okay. I guess you trust me already, but here you go. Just change the password, please. Right. So make sure, like, if you can do that too, but you got to ask for their permission. Okay. Does that make sense, Andrea? Yeah. Right. So just check to see if you ask them the company, it's like Transamerica or whatever it may be. Just look up transamerica.com or whatever the portal is. Right. And, look and see if there's a login. Hey, have you ever logged into the account? And if they have the policy, most portals ask for the policy number as well. So if they have the policy, then that's a lot easier. Okay. If they don't have it, you may have to schedule a call, which transitions me into what Eric's going to talk about, right? Also, guys, this is a fun fact I learned the other day. What is Transamerica's phone number is what? Yeah, 1-800-PYRAMID, right? Transamerica's phone number, if you dial 1-800 into your phone and type out pyramid, it is Transamerica's home line, right? So Anthony, go ahead and try that, bro, because I know you've never heard that before. I just blew your mind, right? 1-800-PYRAMID is Transamerica, okay, guys? But without further ado, man, I don't want to take any more time away from this guy. Again, like I said, this is my original regional vice president, now senior national sales director, guys. And man, there's I'm just truly blessed. And I are truly blessed not only to have, Eric and Bryn as not only our mentors, but as our best friends, man. So guys, without further ado, give it up for the incredible senior national sales director, $1 million earner, head coach, Eric Ortiz.
All right. Keep it there. I love it. All right, guys. Hey, man, give it up for Brendan in the chat, man. Give it up for him, man. That was awesome. Awesome training. Now, guys, real quick, man, you have to understand how important that type of policy is. There's so much crap out there, and I'm just moving around because we have some people here in the office. I want to make sure that I pay attention to you guys who are live as well as you guys on the studio as well, too. But you have to understand, man, there's a whole bunch of crap out there. You have to understand that, right? And you have to give you the tools today, Karina, when you sit down with the client, you know how to overcome, right? Because you can be the best insurance agent in the world, but if you don't know what the opponents are giving our clients, giving our loved ones, you're just going to be visiting, all right? And we didn't sign up to be a visiting company, right? And so today I'm going to show you guys, right, along with what Brendan said, is how do you replace it? Like once you get the client on your side, once the client is pissed, because that's what's going to happen, right, Brendan? Once they see that in their policy, first of all, they don't believe you. They believe what's in the policy, and they take it even a step further. They even believe it even more when you show them, when you call the company, and they verify that the policy of what you said is what they currently have, all right? So I'm going to share with you guys a process, all right? So listen, take notes. Last thing I want y'all to do, man, is go through this training at the very end. That, okay, I got a couple of clients. What do I do next? That just means that you weren't taking notes, you weren't listening, right? So I want you guys to listen, take notes, because this is very valuable information. All right. So let me go ahead and share this. Right. And so this right here is how we replace a policy. Right. Once you've done the T-chart, once the client says, yep, I know I'm paying way too much. Brendan, I know you can save me, $100 a month, $200 a month. I even got it down. Brendan, what was the most you ever saved a client on a policy? I think the most we ever did was about $800 a month. 200 bucks. Yeah, dude, I'm telling people are paying thousands of dollars for this cash value policy because they think it's something because the agent was really good with his words and sold them crap. All right. And sold them crap. All right. So you have to understand that there's crap out there being sold. Right. So the process of replacing the cash value policy, Jordan, you don't just go out there and close a policy, Primerica policy, and then tell them to cancel their policy. Right? Because here's the scenario, Andrea. You sit down with somebody, husband and wife, they have a cash value policy, right? You submit your policy with Primerica. It takes a process, right? They have to do underwriting, they have to do a medical exam, right? It doesn't just get issued immediately sometimes, right? If it's a precision term policy. So let's say you do that and you tell them, hey, okay, go ahead and cancel your policy, Carlos. They cancel their whole life policy. Our policy hasn't been issued yet. For some reason, they're uninsurable, right? They have high blood pressure, cholesterol, they had cancer in the past. Now they can't get insured with us. And now the whole life policy is no longer in effect. And now I'm telling you, just pissed off a client to the extreme, right? So we don't want to do that. All right. I'm going to show you guys a process in doing so. First of all, man, you have to understand that you have to protect and prepare your client. All right. Protect and prepare your client from the cash value rep. All right. That rep, similar to us, when we get a chargeback, right? When we get somebody calling us saying they want to cancel their policy, we fight for that business back. Last thing we want to do is have to owe money, right? And so that's the same thing that's going to happen to that whole life agent. That whole life agent is not going to be is not going to be happy that your policy, he's depending on those residual checks. So you have to mention to that client, listen, there's probably going to be a potential phone call from that agent or from that corporation, because 80% of the time that agent's no longer in that with that company, right? So you're going to get a call from the company. Most likely, right? It happened very few times, but in the past, but now it may happen. It may be an agent-to-agent confrontation. What does that mean, Karina? You help out a client. A good friend of them from another company sold them a whole life policy. They're probably going to want that old agent from that whole life company to sit down with you, Karina, and you guys battle it out. It's fantastic. Oh, I love it. I love it, right? Because I know for a fact that we'll beat them every single time, right? We'll beat them and if you don't feel comfortable with that, trust me, your upline, your RVP is biting at the bit to do that. We love those things, man. We love them. And chances are that agent isn't going to show up, right? That agent is going to be like, nah, man, my manager told me I can't do that, right? Because he knows he's going to get demolished, right? And so you also have to reassure the client that they will never, ever be left without any coverage at any time, right? During the process, they will always have coverage on them, right? Perhaps even more coverage at one point. Fair enough? You guys got that? Sure. All right, cool. Here's a process. After thoroughly explaining, right, the difference between the cash value and the Primerica strategy, the T-chart, right? After thoroughly explaining, and they understand it, right? We have to make sure that there is a coverage rollover. Now, what does that mean? That they roll into coverage, right? They currently have $250,000 of whole life coverage on themselves, that they roll into our $1 million policy, that they're never left without any insurance at any point during that process. All right. You got to let them know there's a qualification period. Right, Brendan? So during that process, they're going to have to check their medical records. They're going to check the nurse, going to check their height, weight, right? They're going to make sure that they can qualify for insurance. They just can't go out there and buy Primerica life insurance. They have to qualify for it. So it's a qualification process. You have to submit the Primerica app. All right. So Karina, they say, yep, I'm interested in doing this. Boom, submit the app. Submit the app, and then I'm gonna share with you how you're gonna do that, how you're gonna make sure that they understand the process. All right, so there may be a time where they're double charged for their whole life and also charged for the Primerica policy. You guys got that? There may be a chance. There may be a chance. All right. Now the cash value company, let's say it's with, Transamerica, New York Life, not Wells Fargo, Northwestern Mutual. You have to call the actual company. Do not call the agent. Call the 1-800 number, and only call the 1-800 number with the client on the phone with you or next to you. Because Ray, they will never, ever let you go to the next step as far as getting information on the policy, if the client doesn't give you access or authority to get that information. All right. So be prepared. Last thing you want to do is sit down with the client, tell them, hey, let's go ahead and replace your policy. I'll do it over the phone. No, you're at work. I'll take care of it. And you don't get anywhere, right? Make sure you know the process. Second thing is, man, listen, here's a phone call. This is how the phone call with the company works. All right, this is extremely important. First thing is, you got to find the 1-800 number. On the policy, it's very small, right? Or you can Google Transamerica 1-800 customer service line, right? Or whatever the company is, customer service line. And you call the 1-800. Do not, repeat, put it in the chat. Do not call the rep.
Do not call the rep.
Yeah, let's say it out loud together. Do not
call the rep.
I love it, right? And the reason why is because when that rep gets on the phone, they're going to try to save their policy. Oh, I didn't know you wanted term. If I would have known you wanted term, I would have sold you term, right? And so you do not want to call the rep, right? Now, when the client's on the phone with you and you're calling the whole 1-800 number, they have to verify their identity, right? They're going to have to give probably their social, probably their address, their date of birth, what's the name of their favorite dog, whatever it may be. They're going to have to identify their identity to the client or to the customer service rep. All right. Now, once they do that, Carlos, they have to give you access or authority to speak on their behalf. And so all these conversations that I'm having with you now, I have with the client before the call. Hey, Brendan, listen, we're going to be calling New York Life, the customer service line. They're going to ask you to identify yourself. You probably don't have your policy number, but they're going to ask you for your social, your date of birth, right? And then once they do that, I want you to tell them that you have Eric on the call with you, right? And that you give me authority to speak on your behalf. Fair enough?
Sir.
Does that make sense to you, Brendan?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to call them, and then you're going to say what?
That we're going to give you permission and policy.
Yep. Right. So I want the client to repeat it back to me because it's that smooth. I want it to be as smooth as possible on the line. All right. And then so once that authority has been accessed, right, has been granted, all you do is just go over what Brendan just taught us today. You go over the bullet points, this right here. You go over these points right here with the customer service, because you know what? The customer service is on a recorded line. And they cannot lie. They cannot lie. So I go over customer service. I say, hey, let me ask you this. When this policy right here, if I'm understanding it correctly, when does the cash value start to show? Oh, it starts to show out the 30 year. Okay, boom, check that off. Okay, and then if the client for any reason, man, emergency happens, what can he do with that money? Oh man, that's a good question. They can borrow it. Or excuse me, no. That money in that cash value, what is it? Guaranteed interest rate? Oh, it's a 4%. Boom, check that off. And if an emergency happens, customer service rep, how much can the client take out? Can he take it all out? No. He has a great opportunity to borrow his own money, which is awesome. Okay, great. And then if he borrows it, what does he have to pay it back at? Oh, he has to pay it back at an 8% interest. And at this time, guys, listen. Be prepared. The client is going to get upset, especially like on Brendan's case, how they've been paying it for 7 years. they're probably going to get really upset. Not at you. Don't take it personally. They're going to get really upset with them. All right. And then you have to ask them the most morbid question. Hey, Transamerica customer service rep, if my client dies today, right, what happens with the cash value? That's simple, right? Don't get overcomplicated. Ask them a direct question. What happens with the cash value? Does the family get the cash value? No. What happens to it? Well, we keep it. Woo! Man, that client is pissed. That client, because that's what's happening, man. That's what they're selling. All right. So you have to go through these points. You have to understand those 4 points. It's called funny banking, right? You have to go through those 4 points with the client and the customer service on the line. All right. Now, once all this is confirmed, here's the next process, Andrea. Once all of this is confirmed, right? Those 4 points, even 2 out of the 4 points is confirmed. You have to let the company know to start drafting the client or start sending the client a bill quarterly. Somebody put that in the chat, right? They have to start sending the client a quarterly bill. That's 1. Number 2 is they have to mail it to the client. Mail the bill to the client. Do not automatically draft the account. You want to see a really upset client, a client that knows he has a horrible product and is get automatically drafted for 4 months. Now he's upset with you or she's upset with you. All right. Y'all got that? Make sure they send the bill. And the reason why, Carlos, we have them send the bill to the client is because you have 60 days to pay it once you have that bill in your hand. So why do we want so much time? Why do we want so much time? Yeah, because our policy doesn't just occur overnight. They have to go through so it buys us time to get our policy issued. Does that make sense? We have 60 days to pay our whole life policy, that gives us time to issue our policy, right? Andrea. Great. If they get with us, with like a term, a power term policy, yeah, if they get insured right there, cancel this thing.
So how do I say it? I'm gonna cancel it.
Yeah, so if we do the application and it's a power term policy and they get issued right there on the spot, you don't even have to go through this process. Yeah, the client, once a client is issued, you can, right? This helps you. I would do this after, you do the 4 questions for the customer service rep. And once that is done, instead of doing the last point, which is quarterly bill, just say cancel my policy. We would like to cancel the coverage. And the reason why you still want to go through the 4 points is because it prevents that agent getting back in the door. That agent comes in the door again, man, he's getting booted in the face, right? Because they know now that they sold them a crappy product. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. So again, if the policy is rapid issue, you still go through the 4 points. Ask the customer service, those still 4 points, right? And at the very end, once everything is confirmed, cancel the policy. That's if the policy is already issued. Again, right? And so we talked about this, right? I wanted to add this on there. But
Hey,
look,
Coach,
yes.
what about surrendering the policy if it have cash on it instead of just canceling it?
Man, look at this. Look at it. I'm over here in elementary school. You asking a middle school question. I'm about to get there. I love it. Right? So look, this is to answer Melinda's question, right? Once the policy has been issued with Primerica, or once it's been rapid issued, with Primerica, we cancel the policy, right? And by law, Andrea, they have to send the client the cash value. They have to send them the surrender value. All right. So let's say, for instance, they have $2,000 in cash value and their policy, we replace it. Melinda, as soon as you replace that policy, by law, the insurance company has to send the client a check within 7 to 10 business days for the cash value amount. All right. Because that's no longer their money. It's the client's money. And they send it to them in the mail. All right. Belinda, did that answer your question? Is Belinda still there? I think so. I love it. All right. So that's how you get the cash value back to you. All right. That's how you get the cash value back. And then once you get that cash value, listen, you have to step it up, right? You got to make sure that you sit down with your upline. If they have a license, if you're licensed or if the upline is licensed, sit down and make sure you start their investments. All right. That's the second portion. You just can't be a life insurance agent. You got to be a all around financial representative for them. All right. So if they get a check back to them in the amount of 1,500, whatever it may be, invest that thing, right? That solidifies your business, Carlos, right? Even if you don't have the securities license, take your upline who's securities license and make sure that you guys are investing that money. The more products that you have tied to you, the longer the client's going to be with you, right? So if you have a life insurance product with them, if you have investments with them, you have PLPP with them, there is no way any other agent can come in at any time and replace your policy, because now you have a strategy, you don't have a policy. Does that make sense? They have to mail. Yeah, they have to mail it. Once you cancel the policy, by law, whatever surrender value is in there, they have to mail it to the client, to the address on record. Yeah. I've never experienced it. You have? Once you cancel policy, they require paperwork?
Yeah, I just replaced one. They're sending the guy the paperwork this week.
Oh.
It's going to take like 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, that's strange. That's real.
Eric, I got a question.
They can cancel it right there, right then and there.
If they're in, so the question, Jordan, say it again.
Yeah, so right then and there, they can pretty much just cancel it through the customer service line.
Yeah, they can. If only cancel it if they have coverage already in place with us.
Okay.
Yep, but they can cancel it right then. And if worst case scenario they can't, just send a fax to the company saying, client's name, would like to cancel my policy effective immediately with this client or with this company.
Because there's some scenarios where the other agent like tries to get in the way.
That's yeah, of course they do. They get a notice saying, "Oh, I heard that you're about to cancel my policy." That's why you got to keep your agent or your client. You got to keep them abreast that they're going to have a call from their client, the old agent. The old agents try to get it back in the door, But that's a great time to just have make sure they understand that that's going to happen.
And you're saying ask the customer service agent for them to send statements to your new client, right?
Yeah.
Have to ask the help desk so we can get a computer. Okay, so you gotta go to the desk and ask for a computer. Let's just show us how to do that. Come on. Y'all know where the help desk is?
All right, Carl.
But you know where the help desk.
I'm gonna wait.
Carl, what's going on, sir? What's your question?
How you doing? Thank you. You're throwing a clinic right now. You and Brent are doing amazing. Thank you guys first off. I just wanted to ask, so how would you go about doing it on a Zoom? Because if we're gonna be calling the company on the Zoom, how, like, let's say I had a client in I don't know, Orlando, and I stayed down in Miami. How would I go about, being able to have the policy canceled and, exposing via our chart and, asking the questions about the interest, the growth, the cash value, et cetera, having the client see that. How would I go about that on a Zoom? Would I have to call them on my end and just, how would I do that on a Zoom?
Yep. So I would keep the Zoom presentation up, right? But I would call the client, do a three-way so call the client and then three-way the company in, and then obviously keep the Zoom there, but have the client on the call, merge. Yeah, there it is. Merge the call.
Merge the call. Right.
Yep.
Okay. Definitely. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Of course, man. Of course. Any other questions? No. Well, sometimes there's a surrender fee. All right. So you ask the client, what's the surrender? Put that in the chat, guys. What's the surrender value? All right. So you have the cash value, which is a certain amount, and then you have the surrender value. Surrender value is the fees is the cash value without the fees, or with the fees, excuse me. So there might be a surrender value of, let's say, $200. And the cash value is $1,000. Well, the surrender value is going to be $800. Does that make sense? That confuse you there? Okay, so the surrender value is what they're taking home. If they cancel their policy, that's what their surrender value is. That's what the client keeps. Yep. Surrender value is the cash value minus fees. Yep.
Use the computer to look up Dr. Seuss.
Hey, Karen, you ripping these kids, Karen. I see Karen. All right, all right. Yanae, I see your hands up. Uh-huh.
Unless the client requests, I know this happens where they want the client to fill out paperwork because nobody ever really does that paperwork. So unless you request it, they're gonna mail it. So like the person who said, oh, it's gonna take 2 weeks, if they ask for an email, they'll send it right away.
Okay.
Confirm that they receive it, so I would just.
Yeah. She was saying that from now on, she's seen a lot of people, a lot of companies send the paperwork to get the cash value or the surrender value. Yep. All right. Any other questions?
There's a question. The surrender value in all cases will definitely be lower than the original cash value while the policy is active, correct?
Say that again.
The surrender value in all cases will definitely be lower than the original cash value while the policy is active, correct?
Yes. The surrender value is always going to be lower than the cash value.
Question. You ask about a coverage rollover. If the clients I sit down with, they already have a roadmap. They're like, oh, what happens with the money I have over there? I didn't understand the coverage rollover part.
Yeah.
How does it work?
Yeah. So at no given time will the client not be insured. So they have 200,000 whole life. They're going to roll their coverage over with us for $1 million or whatever the case may be. Right. At no time during that process is the client not going to be insured. Right. So when our policy takes effect, this policy is still issued as well too. We're going to cancel this whole life policy because we have a policy over here.
Yeah, but nothing that is in the previous policy gets transferred to this one.
Nothing. Great question.
So you're filling out everything right then and there on our end to put everything in place immediately.
Mhm.
And then once we personally as the agent going to get the confirmation and then we talk to the client, or is this all happening kind of simultaneously, or do we wait for them to cancel their policy on their end and then ours goes into effect?
Yeah, great question. So when it comes to the whole life transition, guys, it's a process, right? You can't just cancel a whole life policy immediately. It's not a microwave system, right? It takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of love with the client as well too. All right. So you do the policy, right? You figure out that they have a whole life policy, right? We present to them the difference, a T-chart. All right. They say they're interested in Primerica policy. We write up the policy with Primerica while they have the whole life policy in place. All right. So now they have two policies. They have two policies, our policy and their policy. Now say the scenario that Andrea brought up, we do a power return policy, they get issued immediately. Well, then we don't need this policy anymore. So we can cancel that thing, right? And we get notified as the agent when that policy takes place. Now, if it's more than 300,000 in coverage and it's a precision term policy, there's a process. They need to do medical underwriting. They have to do a medical exam, all this other stuff. So it takes about 15 to 30 days to get issued, right? So while this is in the process of getting issued, we want to make sure that the whole life policy is still in effect. Because if we cancel this, and for any reason, our policy says, no, we can't issue you, and this gets canceled, now they have no insurance, right? So we want to keep them both in effect, right? And then once our policy it gets issued, then we can cancel this one,
Okay.
right?
Then get back in touch with them or whatever the deal is. But this is really just confirming, solidifying that, this is the right way.
Yeah, for sure. All right. And so listen, guys, the only way you can master this, there's three ways. All right. And they have to work together. You got to watch this recording over and over again, right? Because nowadays, listen, if you're a life insurance agent, how am I doing on time? Right. If you're a life insurance agent, most people out there, first of all, are training their people on whole life, right? We're not life insurance agents, guys. Listen, we are full financial planners. We are full financial representatives. We do everything. But life insurance agencies are training their agents to sell whole life. And the reason why is because they get bigger commission and it's a longer term. It's a whole life of a human being. So they're training their people on selling whole life. So for the most part, people who sell whole life really don't know what the heck they're selling, right? They just sell them on stuff that they were trained on, which is not accurate, right? And so you have to be ready to address this stuff, but also know that you guys are being trained well more advanced than any life insurance agent out there, right? Because we're doing the full cycle. So number one thing is watch this recording several times. Number two, right, is you got to get on a whole bunch of appointments. There is a huge probability that your relatives, brother, sister, mother, auntie, cousins, probably one of them have a whole life policy. And we got to have the courage to go talk to them. We have to have the courage to go say, listen, this is what I'm doing. And if you're not trained up yet, get your upline over there to train them, to show them, listen, this is what you have. This is what we can offer you. And if it's something that benefits you in all sorts of ways, wouldn't it make sense that you make the move? Yes. What you don't want to happen, Carlos, is you find out that a relative has passed away. You had the opportunity to go talk to them, but we didn't have the courage to. I'm not talking about you personally, right? But you didn't have the courage to go talk to them. And instead of hooking them up with $1 million policy, now they're paying out a $10,000 policy, right? So you got to have what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to learn that what they have is crap. That's the worst thing that's going to happen. The best thing that's going to happen is they look at you as not Carlos, my nephew, but Carlos, my financial representative. That's happened across the whole company. It's happened to us. It's happened to Brendan, Yanae. All the leaders in our office are no longer looked at as Leighton, my cousin, Leighton, my friend. He's Leighton, my licensed representative, right? That's Tasha and Javaris, my licensed representatives. Not my cousin, right? No, bro. This right here is a chance for you to go talk to your family, talk to your friends to elevate your status with them, right? And good news need to be told to family rather than us focusing on friends and strangers first, right? We talk to family, we talk to the ones closest to us to help them out first. And it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter where you come from. Information with facts is more important than somebody who thinks they know what they're talking about. All right. So listen, last thing I want to end with, man, is listen, the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing, right? We got to stop talking about, I'm going to go replace all these policies. I'm going to build the biggest life insurance agency out there. Go do it. Do it then. Right? Do it then. Do it then. There's so many people out there that can benefit from this training today, right? There's so many people that can get better with the information today. Do you realize that people pay us thousands upon thousands, not us, not the Ortiz family, I'm talking about all the agents in Primerica, thousands upon thousands of dollars just to spread the good news of putting them in a better financial state. And we're giving you guys material today to do it. Now it's on you. Are you going to just take this material and just say, yeah, I trained on whole life today? Or are you going to go out there and reach out to everybody on your call list and say, man, I just learned the difference between whole life and term. Let me sit down with you and explain the difference. Even if they don't have a policy, just by sharing the knowledge that you learned today, you get better. Because when you share information, you learn it, right? And they see you as a better representative as well, too.
This one, right?
Y'all got that? Right. All right, cool. Well, hey, listen, guys, that's my training for today. Hope you guys learned something new, right? I hope I answered all questions. I appreciate your guys' time. Brendan, you knocked it out of the park, right? Man, and guys, listen, let's go out there and let's change, man. We're in the beginning, we're in the middle of the month. Let's go out there and do some huge things this month, man, and make sure that we're benefiting ourselves, benefiting, our family, benefiting our team, right? And also making sure our community is better because we're in it. All right. Love you guys. Y'all know who we are. We are
Aviators.
Yeah.
Talk to you later, guys.
All right. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. Good job.